We've got the basics of our projectile going. So let's go ahead and polish off our logic a little bit and spawn some physics stuff. And we're also going to do a nice, fun little intro to chaos physics solver. And that's going to be really nice to do because that's not a lot of blueprinting. It's way more artistic and a lot more intuitive than all of this super fancy logic stuff we're doing. So we should start by killing the projectile after just one hit. So right now we're in our first person projectile blueprint. This is some damage stuff that we're not really going to worry about, basically damaging characters, a whole different can of worms. Adding a physics impulse here was already set up for us, but we're going to have to tweak this down the line. It's also making sound, so that's a new thing in 5.6. And we're not going to worry about that. Oh, and this also looks like some interesting logic that they've left in here for us. It's just scaling it down, I guess, over time. Not super important. Let's go ahead and figure out where we want to put this. So it's calling this destroy projectile. From... I don't even know where this is calling it from, but we're going to make our... Oh, right here. So I don't even think we need to... I'm just going to delete this, honestly. And instead, we're going to apply... We're going to create a new sequence here. And I'm going to control click and just move everything down one. Actually, no, sorry, that's not necessary. Let's just put it right after this apply damage thing. Let's just destroy projectile. So we'll just do destroy actor. And this is saying right here, this is saying if the hit object is a character, then apply damage. Otherwise, don't apply damage. But we can just say either way, destroy the actor, so it doesn't bounce around. Okay, seems like I've missed something here. So let's actually do this a different way then. Instead, I am just going to move our stuff to be in here before casting the character. Let's just make a new function, a custom event, destroy projectile. It's going to be similar to the other one. This, but now I know where it's coming from. And I just want this to happen, I guess, after we've made noise and added impulse and all that fun stuff. So yeah, we'll do that here. Destroy. Well, let's see if this even just works. And we won't even go to the function. Okay. All right. That's actually a lot better. Great. Yeah, so it's just deleting it immediately. And we're still getting our physics impulses. And if we want, it should still be doing damage. So all of that's great. But we need to do a little bit more. What I want to have happen is we need to, I guess we'll set up a chaos, an actual destructible actor first, and then I'll explain what we need to do in blueprints for it. So this will be fun. Let's start off by just creating a default cube. So add a new shape, and the shape will be a cube. And before we do anything, let's maybe apply some sort of material to it that looks fun. Like this orange. I like this orange. Why not? I'm going to scale this to be like a destructible wall of some sort. And this seems good to me. We could give it a name, but this is just a quick demo, so we're not going to worry too much about that. We're obviously going to dive super deep into chaos over the course, but for now, we just want to kind of make sure everything is working with our gun. So if we switch from selection mode to fracture mode here, everything that they've given to us is very intuitive and I would say user-friendly, and it's very nice. So with our cube selected here, we can click New, and this is going to create a new geometry collection, which is what Chaos uses for destructible assets here. So we have this checkbox here as well. It says use root proxies. And it's talking about use the default version of this cube before its broken state. And we don't want this on actually, because what it's going to do is it's going to create like this weird material difference where before you break it, it's going to be like its default white material. And then after we break it, it's going to be our orange material. So we don't want this on, and this should all be fine. We'll just create a geometry collection. And now if we were to go to our outliner, drag this out a little bit, do right click, browse to asset. It's created something next to our basic shapes in our basic shapes category here. We probably want a different location, but this is fine for now. Let's drag this out a little bit more, and we can just create a uniform fracture on it. So if we just click it, you can kind of get a preview of what we're going to see. I'm going to bump this up to like 200 maybe. So we just have a lot more pieces to work off of, maybe 300. Of course, we're going to get into how to get really nice looking fractures down the line. But for now, if we just click fracture, this is probably good enough. We can do a little exploded view here, see what we're working with. And right now we're getting all these nice pretty colors, but we don't want to see that actually. So with our actor selected, we can just type in show bones and make sure we turn this off. So now it's our nice orange color. And I think if we just press play, it immediately just falls, which is cool. But if we shoot it, nothing is happening. You might think it's, well, it's sort of happening because I guess this is technically a physics object. It is bouncing around, but it's not very effective at what it's doing. So there's a couple of steps we need to make here. First off, let's talk about how we interact with chaos objects, with geometry collections. This is going to be through something called a master field. This is kind of like the default physics force that we're going to be using in a lot of the course here. So if we just drag one out, we can see what this is. If we drag the sphere to where the cube is, I'm going to change our mode from selected viewport to simulate. It'll work the same either way, but this is nicer for working. It explodes it, right? It's going to wait a second, and then it's going to explode it. So here's in the play view as well, just to showcase that it's working both ways. Cool. So now we have a way of interacting with it. The thing we want to have happen is when we hit an object, we need to spawn one of these spheres at the location. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually create a copy of this master field because I don't want to adjust the default engine one. I just want to make our own custom variant of it that we can have fun with. So I am going to I'm going to drag this to our content folder here and click copy here. And then if we go to our copy, we can see now we have this master field, and we'll just do copy at the end of it. I think probably what I want to do is create a new folder and call it chaos. And I'm going to drag it in here, and I'm going to move it here instead of copying it. And if we open it, there's a lot of parameters for us to mess around with, and we're going to dive into all of these. For now, all we need to worry about is this activation type. I'd like to change it from delay to on tick, so it's going to constantly activate every frame, right? And then we don't even want it to delay. We just want to set it to 0. And I think we need this on as well. Use tick. So if we drag this in now and click play, it should instantly explode. Yeah, great. Simulate probably would have been better. Yeah, so as soon as we start, it explodes. Very fun. It's also worth noting if we just do simulate down here. Oh, one more thing we want to turn on actually is this debug checkbox here. Save it real quick. And I'm not sure why simulate, I guess it's a new update in UE6, but I have to keep switching it to simulate. Kind of weird. But now we can move this around, and it should just always be a force that we can use. So that's pretty fun. And I'm going to guess if we scale it to... Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, so this is our basic physics object here. Or physics effector. I can't believe that simulate is in its own... It doesn't stay anymore. That's an odd update for them to have. Anyways. We're going to go ahead and need to spawn this at the hit location. So back in our first person projectile, we want to, before destroying the actor, we want to, of course, spawn our physics actor. So I think what we can do is we can just do spawn actor from class. And the class will be our master field copy. And we have this option for a spawn transform here. And this is very convenient because this event hit comes with a bunch of things. Hit location, hit normal, hit impulse. We'll use these later down the line, but for now, hit location is great. We can right click on our transform here, which is expecting rotation, scale, and position, and do split struct pin. So that all we have is a rotation, because that's all we really care about. And just drag it into here. We could also, to keep things clean, right click on this, promote it to a variable, and set it before we do anything else. And so over here, now we have this variable that we can use. So we could just use get hit location and plug it into our transform. And I believe this will just work now. We have debug on as well, so we'll see what's actually happening. I'm going to delete this. I'm going to put this in. Boom. There we go. So now we're cooking. We've got something going. Very cool. We've got a lot of spheres hanging out though, and so we probably want to handle those so that our level doesn't just crash and get overloaded with memory. So I'd actually like to... We probably want to make these all functions, and I'll explain why too. So instead of just... What I was going to say is we should spawn it, delay for a second or for 2 seconds, and then destroy component. Or maybe it's, let's see, what do we need to destroy? If we just type in destroy with context sensitive here, you can see destroy actor is what we want to do. But obviously, if we delay 2 seconds and then destroy the master field and then destroy the projectile or this whole thing, it's going to bounce around for like a half second before it destroys itself. I don't know if you can see that, but it bounces and then deletes itself. So we need to have this happen in a smarter way. And we can do that with creating our own functions, right? So we have our destroy projectile up here. And instead we'll just do destroy projectile is the name of our function. But we want to have that happen after our other event, which will be, we'll create a new custom event, call this one spawn master field. So we'll just do this, spawn master field, and then destroy projectile. So now I think what's going to happen is it's not going to wait for the master field to finish doing its thing, which will be delaying before destroying the projectile. And we can go ahead and test this out. So let's move all of our logic. I'm going to break off a bunch of these connections here. So we have our hit location. Move this all up and out of the way. Spawn master field. Spawns this master field copy here. And we will delay for 0.2 seconds and then destroy the actor. Control X, Control V. Cool. And this can be its own little standalone function. We can press C to put a comment around it, and we could write in whatever we wanted. I probably will at some point, but for now, let's just get this going. Spawn master field, destroy projectile. Destroy projectile is fairly straightforward. So just put destroy actor in here, and it's going to be self. And let's test it out. Yeah, so now you can see there's no time for the rocket to bounce because it's just running both the functions separately, right? Like, it's like, okay, you go do your own thing, and while you're doing your own thing, I'm going to go to the next function. And I think this is a great stopping point, really. Yeah, we can turn off debug for now, and we could also set a lifetime if we wanted to. Use lifespan. I mean, we could also set this here to be like 1 second. Otherwise, it'll just always be on. Doesn't really matter because we're destroying it after 0.2 seconds anyways. But it's good to know that it exists as an option, right? Yeah, that's fun. Of course, in our actual master field here, where we can change a lot of settings for like how strong it is, how big it is. We can make it a little more contained, maybe size of 1. Magnitude input, I believe, is what we want to edit here. We could set this to like 1000 if we want it to be less powerful. Let's test it out, see how this feels. Yeah, so now we have some standing left in our mesh here. It's a little bit more contained. I don't know if that's what we want. We might want more bigger chaos, but that'll be up for you to decide how you want your destruction to feel. All right. We'll go ahead and do some more tweaking in the next episode, but for now, it's a great stopping point.